Hey, what's up everybody? How's it going? Today is Saturday, February 11th, 2023. Alright, today we're going to talk about, a few guys have been asking me what do I watch, I guess, on YouTube or stuff like that. And obviously, a lot of stuff about the music I listen to. After the last video, I listen to old rock and roll. What do I watch? I don't watch regular TV anymore. I actually don't have regular TV. I have a little Fire Stick hooked up to my TV set. It runs on my Wi-Fi. And I watch, what I found interesting recently was this thing on YouTube. It's called Van Gogh Village. It's in China, and all these guys, it's like a whole village. They pump out like thousands of Van Gogh paintings, man. Real wild shit. They do it real good too, like real Van Gogh. Like they sit there in their oil paint. There's groups of them, and even little children and stuff. It's like a whole village. There's mass producers, like fraudulent Van Gogh paintings. I thought that's very cool. Yeah, it's called Van Gogh Village, I believe, in China. It's a village in China. Yeah, it was really cool, man. I enjoyed that. Like the Tiger King, that was good shit. The Tiger King was wild. But yeah, this the Van Gogh Village in China. And they're actually watching the old movie with Kirk Douglas, I believe. Yeah, it was Kirk Douglas and Anthony Quinn, right? Yeah, Anthony Quinn played Paul Gauguin. Yeah, and Vincent Van Gogh was played by Kirk Douglas. What the fuck's the name of that movie? Lust for Life. Lust for Life. Yeah, well, in the YouTube thing, it's like a couple of episodes together. They're watching Lust for Life, and they're crying about Van Gogh, like how, he just wasn't understood and this and that. Yeah, I like that. That was funny as hell, man. I mean, not funny, but it was also deep. I watch a lot of stuff about like fraudulent and a lot of art heists, famous museums that got robbed, stuff like that. Yeah, I like watching stuff like that. A lot of art forgers, some Spaniards, stuff like that. Love it. Other than that, I watch a lot of shit about reptiles, frogs, amphibians mainly. Yeah, stuff like that I like to watch. Yeah, alright, well, you got an idea there. Now, what I want to talk about as far as it goes with graffiti, I was thinking back to a time when the subways got buffed and the streets became the end thing to do. Now you got to realize, I was born in 1968. So you figure by 88, I was 20. By 89, trains were done. I was like 21, maybe 22 years old, something like that. When the trains were completely we could ride on them, but they're just going to pull them into the yard and clean them up. Yeah. So at that point in my life, I was already a young man. 21, 22 years old. And I'm riding on the streets, and I start realizing a couple of guys start going over me. Now I realize in this situation, I said it realized twice, because I can explain the story without even mentioning these people. And so there's no reason to mention their name. It doesn't benefit the story in any way, shape, or form, and these people have become I guess, really graph gods or something like that on the internet. But by the time 1990 came around, right before I got married, people started going over me in the street, and they weren't it wasn't subway beef, because a lot of people from the subways did go into the streets and test it out and, fucked around a little bit, but not like the fucking ramp that was going on underground. That was the funnest fucking time ever, man. For me, in my life of graffiti, right on the subways, man. Yeah, fuck yeah, man. That was the shit. Man. I was running around like Beowulf in that motherfucker, man. Yeah, that was fun shit. But after that, and I'm 21, 22 years old, and I'm riding on the streets, and I start getting beef with people. They start going over me. New guys that are just coming out. And they start going over me and shit, So it's like, I've actually caught one of them on 57th. There's an art supply store there. It's a very, very expensive store. And Lee's Art Supply, 57th, it's like 5th Avenue or something like that. It's probably even still there. It's been there my whole life that I could think of. Lee's Art Store. Yeah. But anyway, I caught these kids. I saw them actually writing on a mailbox. So I came over to them. It's like, yo. And I swear, they were like 13 years old, 14 years old, like little like yuppie preppy kids with book bags, and like they didn't even have blazers with like shit embroidered on them. So I said, yo, what the fuck? They said, why you go over me? Blah, 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 blah. You know, of course I'm not going to do nothing to them. I mean, I'm already, like I said, I'm probably about 7, 8 years older than these people. I mean, nowadays, God forbid, these guys are graph gods. But I had a point in my life, right before I got married, where I started to realize that I'm like a grown man. These are like a bunch of little fucking kids. Like it's like stupid to me at that point. And that's when I got married, and I lived in the Bronx. I was married for a couple of years, and I still did a couple of blockbusters here and there on the tracks and stuff. But at that point, I kind of was like, I was like little kids running around and shit. So then by the time I get divorced and I jump back into the graffiti game around 94, something like that, I get down with this dude, Just DWC, Dogs, Wolves, and Coyotes. But me and him start tearing shit up, and there's like no one really writing at that point. No one in Manhattan. I don't know what's going on in the rest of the fucking world, the city rather. But yeah, in Manhattan, no one was doing nothing. So we're just smashing the fuck out of shit, right? Then all of a sudden, like little kids again, like pop up, start fucking around. So. One thing that I like about the graffiti community of today is the fact that it's not little kids that's starting to write graffiti, that it's grown men. They're like 24, 25. Some of these people are 30-something years old, and oh yeah, I'm going to write graffiti. And they run around and start writing graffiti. A late bloomer, yes, but I mean, yeah, I think that is pretty cool for me. Anyway, I mean, even as far as it goes with the subways, when they got buffed and got cleaned up, I tried to crack it. Like I said, I went for it. I did a couple of clean trains. We kept doing a clean train every year or so like that. We get together, my friends and me. Never really go anywhere else. We hang out with each other all the time anyway. So sometimes someone gets an idea to do some kind of whole car or something like that, which would normally be Lace, Andrew. He'd always be sitting there twinkling around, fucking around with a pencil. He's like, oh, I got this idea. We got to do it. And we'll run down there and do a whole car or something like that. Yeah. But also, like I've explained, we tried to write on the seats, under the seats and shit, and on the floor, how it's like grippy and like chorus. And it seems like ink would sink into it, but yeah, I never saw it run. Tried to write on the machines under the trains, like the guts of the train, like where the wheels are and shit, thinking if someone's across the tracks they could see it. We ran around with a bunch of white spray paint, did that. Yeah, that's fun. So after that whole point, it was like little teenagers that started coming up in the world, and that's these guys that are now like, oh wow, they've been around, they've done this, they've done that. I get a kick out of that. But one thing I do like is the fact that nowadays it's like it's not really considered like a childish thing, because at one point I started feeling like kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm like a fucking grown man fucking with little kids. You know, I shouldn't say fucking with little kids. I'd say it again. You know what I mean? Like fighting and like arguing or participating in a graffiti. You got me? And it's like little kids are picking on me. Yeah, for real, that's some crazy fucking shit. I don't know. Yeah. I wanted to say that, but nah, have to figure it out. A lot of you guys also have been asking me about Mike R.E. I wrote with Mike R.E. Well, you guys want to know about why we stopped hanging out, why I had an abrupt cutoff point with him, and I could get into that one day. One thing I can say about Mikey R.E. is when I met up with him, he was good. He was very intelligent. I enjoyed having conversations with him. We'd drive around his car. We'd listen to 1010 Wins on the news. He's very smart, very, very intelligent. He was actually a school teacher. Yeah. I believe he taught like high school or junior high school students. So yeah, he was a pretty intelligent human being. I could have conversations with him I couldn't have with other people that I know. You know, he would be able to hold a conversation in areas that some of my friends would fall off on. What else was there? Yeah, he was good, man. He knew the streets too. He knew the streets. He was like, how you would say, yeah, just the whole deal. Like, you know, like the police and how often they're coming by, you know, stroll spots, fucking hotbeds, the whole 9 yards, response times, shit like that. He was good. He was good with the streets. He definitely knew the streets very well. Yeah. And he was a good bombing partner, man. Damn fucking good bombing partner. We really didn't talk much. I mean, we talked about weird shit sometimes. He'd talk to me about just like the government, pretty much, and the Big Brother watching, and he was very big on that whole conspiracy theory shit, and people are spying, and the government's watching everyone, and stuff like that. He really had some interesting theories on life. He was very skittish when writing graffiti, which is a good thing. I myself am very skittish. It's good. You need someone that's cautious. You don't need someone that's balls out. You get me? He trusted my word. If I said stop, he'd stop. If I said go, he'd go. And it gets to the point where that's important. You have to be able to say, all right, go. It's good. Now, some people, it's almost like fall into my hands backwards. When like, if I'm just starting out with someone and they say go, I gotta look around a little bit, like just to clear my mind. I can not go on the wind of someone else. You get me? And yeah, he was good. Like a total trust. Yeah, go. You got it. Once, boom, he'd go. You get me? He'd tell me, yo, you got it. Chill, chill. You know? Yeah. With him, I came up with the words. We don't say go. We don't say no. Because go and no sound the same. So, you know, go, no. We didn't use those terms because you could be saying go and the other person thinks you're saying no, or vice versa. You could say no, 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 like chill, chill, chill. And you continue writing thinking the guy's saying go, go, go. You know, you got horns out there, traffic, birds and shit like that chirping late at night and stuff, little mice running around. So yeah, go and no. Don't use those words. Yeah, very good writer, man. Very fucking good writer, man. He wanted to start expanding off of Manhattan Island. And I'll get into the whole story, but I was like, why? Like, I don't know. I never understood that, you know. Oh, I want to go all city. And fuck, oh, man, yo, wouldn't you rather? Like, why pick around at other boroughs when you could rule Manhattan Island with an iron fist, you know? That's the way I thought. But yeah, so he definitely wanted. He wrote a lot. He had the Bronx on Smash too. He had the Bronx totally fucking destroyed, more so than I've ever seen anyone get a Bronx, up until the pandemic, of course. But yeah, he had the Bronx smashed the fuck, man, smashed. No one had the Bronx ever like that. My whole life. Well, back in the 70s, people were not putting it in like that. In the 80s, nah. 90s, nah. As far as it goes, it was just straight up catching tags. Yeah, that dude already went off on the Bronx, man. Definitely, yeah. I've as far back as you could think of graffiti, and like I said, in the 70s, people weren't doing 40, 50, 60 fucking tags on one block. So they would do one tag here, one tag there. So like he would go through it like I was explaining before when I would write graffiti. First coming out from underground, from writing on the subways and starting on the street, I'd go through each block almost like a subway car, like the inside of a subway car, to catch the tags of garbage cans, doors, stoops, whatever the fuck there is, fire hydrants, fucking poles, whatever. Lay down every fucking block just until I run out of supplies. Then I pick up the next block wherever I left off whenever I got more supplies. But that was early on, and shit was easy. You know, the cops were pretty busy fucking around with all this crack and shit like that in the streets. A lot of shootings and stuff. So, yeah, you were able to do it like that. The cops come, you just straighten up. They go by, you get back to writing again. yeah, I fucking been around, man, I'll tell you, yeah. But Mikey was a good dude, man. I could get into that later on, yeah, in my next episode or something like that. But, you take care of yourselves, people. Have a good one, man. Yeah, I thought of a funny story. with Mikey R.E. You know, he'd come pick me up in the car. When I was living in the Bronx, he would live in the Bronx. He'd come swerve around, he'd pick me up in the car. I mean, I wrote graffiti with Mike straight with no problems. I mean, all right, a few times here and there, but we never got arrested. Never had no problems at all. But it's like when he'd come pick me up in the Bronx, we'd go down to Manhattan and just start smashing shit. Because I was living up in the South Bronx at Costa at the time, 728 Costa Street. He'd pick me up. We'd go down to Manhattan, we'd start right. But as he picks me up, as I'm getting into the car, I would always say to him like this. I'd say, gee, Brain, what are we going to do tonight? And he would turn around and say, the same thing we do every night, Binky. We're going to take over Manhattan Island. I remember that shit. Like, because I'm all tall. I'm like, gee, Brain. He was short, you know. Gee, Brain. Yeah, I remember that. That was funny shit, man. We used to get a kick out of that, man. He was a good dude, man. Good dude, man. You know, from Binky and the Brain. Binky and the Brain. I wrote graffiti with him, like I said, for 12 fucking years straight, man. Yeah, definitely put it in with that dude, man. Take care of yourselves.